Hey everyone, Nick here. In the last video I restored this old Colin axe head. So today I'm going to be hanging the axe head, and I'm going to use this handle that I picked up from the hardware store. I'm going to be doing some modifications to it so that it's a little closer to the original handle in dimension. First I'm going to talk about some of the reasons why I picked this handle and how it compares to the original. So looking from the front, you can see that the new handle is a lot thicker than the old one. Now, I really like the way this older one is, so I'm going to be shaping this new handle to be similar. Though I do think I'm going to leave it just a touch thicker right here to compensate for the fact that it's much thinner, or much more narrow than the old handle. Now, while I like the design of the old handle, the one thing that's not so good about it is the grain orientation, or the growth ring orientation. So when you look at the growth rings at the end of the handle, you can see on this older one, they're running diagonal and almost this way. When you want the growth rings running front to back, that gives you increased stiffness in the handle, it keeps it from splitting apart. Now on the new handle, I picked this one because it had growth rings that were running front to back. It's not perfect, but it was one of the best handles they had. Now when you look up this handle, you can see on the older handle there are all of these cracks running up, and that's where the growth rings have started to separate. So when I first got this axe, this whole area here was covered in duct tape. When I was looking at it, I saw that there was some growth ring separation right here that I was worried about. Once I took the duct tape off, I realized why this was duct tape in the first place. You can see this whole portion has completely split out. It's not even attached anymore. So the duct tape was holding this handle together. Because of the growth rings running this way, there was no strength here, and this is basically just where a growth ring has separated. You can actually see it right along there. It just follows that line of that growth ring. So that's one of the downsides to using that type of grain on this handle. I'm pretty confident that the grain on this is a lot better. It's very straight. There's good preservation from one end to the other. There's a little bit of runoff, but it's not too worrisome. So I'm going to go ahead and start shaping this handle. I've gone ahead and traced the shape of the old handle on the new one, and I'm going to go cut this out on my scroll saw. I'm going to use my belt sander to clean up the profile of the handle. And once I've done that, depending on how hard this wood is, I may start thinning on here, or I might switch to something else. So, here we go. Alright, this wood is really tough, so to thin it out, I'm just going to be using a draw knife. So I'm going to try and leave this area a little bit thicker, maybe even as thick as it is right now, and just thin the sides out. Here's the handle after rough sanding. So I went ahead and drilled a 1/4 inch hanging or lanyard hole here. Now I'm just going to be sanding it. So I'm starting with 80 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to be sanding this smooth. I'm also sanding up into here so I can blend this out so it's not a hard transition, because I think I'm going to have to do a little bit of shaping just to get this to fit. Here's the handle all finished up. I went ahead and sanded everything down. Now we're going to see how much fitting I have to do at the head. So let's put this on. Oh, it actually slides on pretty good. Hopefully this handle is big enough. So let's get that on. That's not good. Well, that went on really easy. So now I'm going to take a mallet and strip the back end. See how far this seats itself. Okay, so you can see there's a little bit of curling down at the bottom, and actually the bottom fit is perfect. You'd think that this particular handle was made to fit this egg set, and who knows, they may be using a standard drift, so it could very well be made to fit, but the top is way too small. You see that? So hopefully when I put the wedge in there, it'll work out. But here it is. So I've got a poplar wedge I'm going to be putting in the top here. I had to clean this slot out because the finish they used got in there and kind of gummed it up. And if you notice that this slit is slightly off center, this is actually the best one they had at the hardware store. The other ones were actually much worse. So I'm going to try something out. A friend of mine told me that what he does is he soaks the wedge in boiled linseed oil to help keep it in place once it's dried and everything. So I'm just going to give it a shot. Now he said to soak it, I'm just going to wipe it on. Alright, so I've got my axe, I've got my wedge. Let's see if I can get the wedge started in there. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get this wedge a little deeper. So I went ahead and cut off the excess, and I'm leaving about 1/8 of an inch out at the top. Now I'm just going to finish it with a little bit of boiled linseed oil. So here's the new handle next to the old handle. I'm happy with how it turned out. It's got a nice feel to it, and I'm excited to put it to work. Here's the axe all finished up. I had a lot of fun working on this. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, I've got a bunch of old tools that need fixing up. So just let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for all your comments. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.